I'm Elaine, aka Ekabakti, and I'm here today just to give you some helpful hints about props and the use of them in your practice. As everyone knows, yoga, the meaning of yoga is union. And the Hatha yoga practice stresses on practicing the poses with effort but with ease. In other words, one should never feel excessive pain or discomfort. And using props is extremely helpful in obtaining this. So I'd like to demonstrate a few of the asanas, poses, with the use of props and how helpful they can be. When I first began teaching a couple of years ago, I think it's 6 already, I knew about props, but I didn't incorporate them into my practice. I think I thought using props meant somehow that you weren't doing the pose properly. But then, as I progressed with learning more about the Hatha yoga practice, I realized that that's a false thought. Actually, the use of props is extremely beneficial and helpful. So I will begin by showing you the first pose with the use of a prop, and it's extremely simple. Okay, the asana Sukhasana, which is the comfortable seated position. To sit in Sukhasana, you can place one leg in front of the other, and the knees are preferably to come as close down to the mat as possible. Now, one can achieve this with much more comfort and ease by using a prop. You can use a folded blanket and place the rolled edge close to your body and sit your hips, or your buttocks I should say, on the edge of the blanket. This helps bring your hips forward and you're able to sit a little bit closer to the edge, and you can see your knees more come down to the mat with much more comfort and ease. Or if you prefer, you could either use a small pillow or even a block to sit on, which will also help bring your hips forward, your pelvic area forward, and therefore your knees come more comfortably down on the mat. Simple, right? Okay, for the second pose, I will demonstrate the forward lunge. Now this, I myself only began using props maybe a year ago for this particular pose, and I find it so very helpful. I discovered that a lot of people have some trouble with bringing your leg forward as from a down dog position. And try as I might, lifting my pelvic area up, coming onto my toes, I just couldn't do it. And then I read somewhere in one of my yoga books that you could very easily use some blocks and that it would be extremely helpful. So I played around with it. Put the 2 blocks here from my downward dog position or pose. I raised up my toes, placed my hands on my block, bring my knee to my chest, and found it so much easier to come into a forward lunge with the use of blocks. I hope you can give that one a try. And for the third asana, the third pose, I found extremely helpful is the garland pose, Malasana. So for that pose, you stand with your legs just a little bit wider than hip distance apart and place a block behind you. I choose to use the high height of the block because I find it much easier. And in practicing this pose with the assistance of a prop, example the block, you're actually allowing your body to learn how to stretch, and eventually you will be able to do the pose without the block. So with your standing straight with your legs just a little bit more hip distance apart, bring your arms out to the side, come together in the front of your chest, and you're going to bring the entire body, aiming down to sit on the block. Your elbows are on the inside of each thigh. And you're very comfortable in your Malasana with your prop. Eventually, if you keep practicing these poses, you could try without your prop. But by no means ever feel or think that by using a prop, you're not practicing yoga. Because yoga is all about combining your mind, body, and spirit. Om Shanti, Om Peace. Namaste.